Logan, Queen Rain here. This time, I'm going over the bestiary. So we'll start here with the bat, the most basic enemy. A nasty little bloodsucker. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it's not worth a lot of HP, or XP. Zombie, the first enemy you'll actually encounter. Regular old skeleton, throws bones at you. Merman. This does a couple of weird things. Number one, it'll chase you all over. Number two, it'll spring up out of the water. And number three, it'll shoot fireballs at you. Axe armor. This is one of my favorite enemies. It looks really cool. Skeleton archer. This is not a very strong enemy. It can be a little pesky sometimes if you're not expecting the arrow to the face it delivers. The peeping eye is a nuisance and a half to deal with when you have to fight it. Large man-eating fish, rumored to be quite tasty. I've never seen them be quite tasty, but they're really annoying. Oddly, it's weak versus fire. Bone pillar. Skeletal remains of a dinosaur. This is typically a stationary enemy. In the first few Castlevania games, such as Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3, it didn't appear in Castlevania 2 to my knowledge though, but in 1 and 3, these frequently contain pieces of the whip. Blue Crow. The blue crow that nibbles upon rotting corpses. This is an enemy that can be problematic if you're slow on the uptake. Bure. A lion with 5 legs. Despite its imposing appearance, it's actually not very strong. The soul from it is very good during the death boss fight. These things are nasty early on, but later on in the game they're not all that strong. Excuse me. These guys can be kind of problematic because of the way they attack. The skeleton knights are just kind of tough early on, but they're actually pretty easy to take out once you get used to them. It's a small ghost. They're a nuisance, but they're not very strong. They're like a bat. The siren's not a very strong enemy. Can be sort of pesky to fight against because it flies around. Tiny Devil is very similar to the siren. Flies around and fires vortex blades at you. It's pesky, but not dangerous, except in groups. Durga is actually kind of a strong enemy for what it is. It's an enemy that I don't really enjoy fighting. I like the armor type enemies though, they always look pretty cool. An armored soldier that throws boulders. These guys are kind of nasty when you first encounter them, but later on in the game they're not as bad. Transformed into a giant ghost by exposure to the castle's magic. Giant ghost is a nuisance enemy. It's not very strong, just kind of annoying. It looks imposing, but it's not that tough. Winged skeleton. This will be the first soul you get, although not necessarily one of the first enemies you encounter. These things are dangerous in groups. Minotaur. Self-explanatory. It's got a big axe, and it likes to chop things with it. Student witch. She throws cats at you, and drops cream soda. Arachne. Poor Arachne. She challenged Athena to a weaving contest and lost. Cursed to be a spider forever. Fleaman. I hate these. I really, really hate Fleaman. Evil Butcher. These come in 2 flavors. There's a green flavor and there's a pale and purple flavor, which is what you're seeing here. Quetzalcoatl, reincarnation of an ancient snake god. These things are nasty early on in the game, but again, they're not so tough later on. Ectoplasms are a nuisance enemy. They very happily curse you. Fortunately, they drop uncurse potions. Ox-like beast turns living things to stone. These are very tough early on, but later on they're not that strong. One of the cool features about them is that you can stand on their back. Ghost Dancer, elegantly dancing ghost of an aristocrat. These drop the luck soul. The tea they drop isn't very restorative, but they drop the first luck soul you can get. Waiter Skeleton. He's just silly. First he throws curry at you, and then he throws his skull at you. It's overly tough, though. Killer Doll. Figurine possessed by the spirit of a mass murderer. These aren't much of a threat, they're just sort of pesky. Animated corpse of a lieutenant who marched to his death. These are pretty tough when you first encounter them, but not so much later on. This enemy serves as your first sub-boss in the game. He can shoot fireballs at you and pummel you senseless with a gigantic... with his femur from when he fell over. The wooden golem. It doesn't have as much defense as other golem-type enemies, plus you can torch it. So souls like the Bifron or the werewolf work very well against it. The Tsuchinoko. This enemy was featured in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater as a very rare and very difficult to find critter. You weren't allowed to eat them, but you could capture them. Get something special at the end of the game if you had all 3 of them. It reduces shop prices, I think, by half. Excuse me. Persephone. She does a demon maid that served a noble master. She practices kung fu. It's actually sort of funny the first time you meet one of these. She greets you and then she starts doing karate. Sucks away your soul as you dream. Appears as a beautiful woman. Lilith, I don't like fighting these. I mean, the first time you encounter them, you're usually well under level and you have to really beat on them to get rid of them. These are not a fun enemy to fight. Nemesis, an angel who hunts and slaughters man-beasts. So the hitbox on this one is problematic. It's only the sword. The angel attached to it is immune to hits. Oh, God, and I'm tired. Kyoma Demon. Leaps out of mirrors and attacks. You've seen me fight this guy. They have way too much HP. Chrono Mage. Rabbit that uses a clock to stop time. Strict in regards to tardiness. The Chrono Mage is... There's only one of these in the whole game, and it only appears in that one hallway. It's really annoying the first time you run into it, and it's like you go into the hall and then all of a sudden you're back out in the other hall. Female warrior with a pretty face and a wicked heart, Valkyrie. This one drops one of my favorite souls. Valkyries in Norse mythology led Vikings to Valhalla, in much the way an angel would lead a human soul to heaven, I suppose. Witch. She's thrilled to have become a witch. She has a few different attacks she uses. She can create a shield and ram you, or she can blast you with a fireball. Curly is a mistranslation. It's actually supposed to be Cali. Demon that uses all 4 of its arms to smash things. Altair. An atrocious eagle that carries a ripper with it. Bombs away. Red Crow. Vicious Crow dyed red by the spattered blood of wounded men. These are no different than a Blue Crow. Cockatrice. One glare will turn you to stone. These just have too much HP. Dead Warrior. Horse riding ghost of a dead samurai. I'm sort of surprised that he can stay on his mount. Creature spawned from the deepest abyss of hell. I don't have an opinion on the devil. These are annoying. If they get hold of you, they can force you to attack constantly. Werewolf. A man transformed into a wolf. The werewolf will attack one of two ways. It'll either smack you with a fire blast, or it'll do a sliding kick. Gorgon. An ox-like creature of hardened skin of iron. This is very similar to the other one that I can't pronounce. It's just a palette swap. They can still turn you to stone. Disc Armor. Armored soldier possessing the spinning razor-sharp discs. Disc Armor will actually really surprise you the first time you encounter them. Stone Golem. The Stone Golem, as you can see, is resistant to pretty much all attack types, except for the Killer Mantle. Manticore. You encounter this enemy as a mid-boss, or as a sub-boss, or I don't know, an early boss anyway. They're pretty cool. I like the model they used for it. Gremlin. He loves to fiddle with machinery. You find there's only 2 of these in the game, and you only find them in the clock tower. The soul boosts your luck by 8 points. They're sort of annoying to fight. Harpy. Monster with the upper body of a woman. Much like the Siren, these will attack in a couple of different ways. They'll either shoot feathers at you, or they'll try to kick you. Frequently, they like to hover just out of the reach of your blade. Medusa Head. Creature mass-produced from the head of Medusa. These are annoying. They come in 2 flavors, a blue flavor and a green flavor. The green flavor will turn you to stone. Bomb Armor. Armored soldier that throws bombs. They, this delivers exactly what's on the tin. Lightning Doll. Doll possessed by the spirit of an electrocuted prisoner. These tend to sort of float around the room in a bumbling manner and will blast you with electricity. Great Armor. Heavy armored soldier built out of the corpses of great warriors. The Great Armor, again, you encounter as a sub-boss, and it's just really tough. Not a lot to say about it. Oon. Plant-like monster that assaults its prey with thorn-covered leaves. Sounds a lot like a devil's snare from Harry Potter, doesn't it? Giant worm. There's not a lot to say about it. It's a giant worm. Recovers HP when you stand still. Giant mutant sea urchin. Passive enemy. If you bump into them, you get hurt. If you chop them, they die, because they only have 1 HP. Worm that subsists on skulls. The Man-Eater is actually a throwback to a to one of the bosses from from one of the Gradius games. I think from Gradius 2 or 3. Not sure. Fishhead. Same thing as a bone pillar. Not a lot to say about it otherwise. Nightmare. Demon that takes up residence in one's dreams. These can be sort of a surprise when you first encounter them, but they're pretty cool. Triton. These just have way too much HP. Slime. Creature whose body is made up of a gelatinous substance. Sort of reminds me of a jellyfish, but I don't like those either. These are really annoying. I don't like them. They can poison you. They come in 2 flavors, a blue flavor and a purple flavor. The purple flavor is prone to dropping on top of you. The blue flavor will drop down once it reaches a path that it can't take. Big Golem. A man-like figure molded out of soil and animated by magic. It's just very, 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 very tough, with lots of HP. Dryad. An evil tree spirit. Technically speaking, dryads aren't inherently evil. They're only evil when they're, the forests they protect are threatened. Poison worm. It's exactly what it says on the tin. Not a lot to say about it. Grants immunity to poison if you get the soul, though. Archdemon. Uses the power of darkness to wreak havoc upon the world. These are mean. They're just plain mean. Cagnazzo. Picky underworld fiend. These curse you. They enjoy cursing. They love cursing you, in fact. They're annoying. Ripper. Fiend that enjoys slaughtering people with a knife. Acts like a flea man, except it throws knives. Were-Jaguar. Works on its straight punch so it can defeat the Were-Tiger. The best way to fight these is to crouch down and slash. That way their punch can't hit you. Ukobak. One of Hell's cauldron demons with a blazing red-hot body. These are just annoying. Allura Un. An Un raised on warm blood. Sort of a cool enemy, but it's got way too much HP. It drops melons. Laugh. Snicker. Bifron. Spirit creature whose glow illuminates dark graveyards. And not to mention the fact that he uses his lantern to set fire to things. Mandragora. Insanity overcomes all who hear his cry. The Mandragora is a little sprout thing, not the skeleton. Flesh Golem. Man-like figure built from body parts of corpses, animated by magic. The soul for this one's actually really nice. It means you can eat rotten food. Skyfish. A creature that moves at high speed, invisible to catch with the naked eye. It appears as a blue sparkle. Once you get good at getting the timing down on the with the Chronomage soul, these are great to farm for XP. Dead Crusader. Skeleton swordsman with a strong defense. You have to wait until he raises his sword to attack you before you can hit him. Kicker skeleton. Flying kicks are this skeleton's specialty. You press down and B mid-jump to perform a downward kick. They take this soul away at the start of a new game plus. Were-Tiger. Works on his uppercut so he can defeat the Were-Jaguar. The fighting strategy is the same between the Were-Tiger and the Were-Jaguar. They're pretty much the same monster. The evil cloak that assaults humans. Killer Mantle. This soul is nice for fighting golems and red minotaurs. Mudman, an evil spirit of a man who drowned in a marsh. Not a lot more to say about it. It delivers exactly what's on the tin. Gargoyle, grotesque monster with the wings of a bat. Immunity to petrification. Not a lot to say about these either. Red Minotaur. A red minotaur that grew stronger during a recent trip to hell. These guys have a lot of HP, but they're weak versus the Killer Mantle. Good way to farm for XP. Beam Skeleton. Skeleton wizards whose powers come from a hole drilled into its head. A friend of mine commented that these remind him of the Sniper Joes from Mega Man. Vengeful Spirit possesses a floating sword. Allosaur. It's a pretty tough enemy, but once you get the rhythm down with them, they're not that bad. They do have a lot of HP, though. Skull Million is another mistranslation. It's supposed to be Skull Minion. Hellspawn with poison claws. These will happily poison you. Excuse me. Giant skeleton with no lower body that crawls along the ground. I wonder if he collapse like the Creaking Skull did. Just has way too much HP. Good XP, though. Gladiator. Though he's dead, the horseback rider still seeks out battles. These are really annoying to fight. Because of the way they move. Baal. A demon that grants cunning. Typo again. This is much like the Burer, except it's got like 5 times as much HP. I don't like it very much. Succubus. This enticing beauty is really a nightmare in disguise. I sort of have a love-hate relationship with succubi. On the one hand, they're actually a really cool enemy overall, but on the other hand, they're way too tough. And besides, who can dislike a naked woman, even if she is a demon? Mimic. Assumes the form of a treasure and quietly awaits. Increases money as damage is incurred. There's only a few mimics in the game, but they can be a real surprise the first time you bump into them. Literally. Stolas, an aged wise owl. This thing is freaky. Boosts intelligence by 16, though. Yeah, this thing's just freaky. It's got too much HP. Erinis, goddess of revenge. Based on the Furies from Roman mythology. Boosts your XP. It attacks much like a Valkyrie does. Lubicant is another mistranslation. Let's see. Actually, Rubicant. An always angry minion of hell. Not enough calcium in his diet. Perhaps he should eat more bones. Basilisk. Offspring of a lizard and a bird. Its gaze can turn you to stone. Delivers exactly what's on the tin. Iron Golem. Man-like figure made out of iron and animated by magic. Extremely tough. The only way to kill this monster is to hit it with the Killer Mantle. Demon Lord. This Dark King rules over most of the demon population. You need this soul in order to get the best ending in the game. You also need the Alistor soul to get the best ending in the game. Final Guard. Specially chosen to defend important areas of the castle. These are way too tough. Not a lot to say about it otherwise, it's just way too tough. Flame Demon. Fiend born from hellfires. Delivers exactly what's on the tin. Shadow Knight. Another soul that you need to get the best ending from the game. Strong knight who sold his soul to the devil. He's not very strong though, he's weak versus holy magic. Got a lot of HP, but he's worth a lot of experience points. Headhunter. This demon collects the severed heads of its victims. This is one of the more annoying boss fights in the game because the third stage just springs all over the place. Death. Dracula's Confinement. The Grim Reaper. What more do you want? Legion. He is many. He is one. He is freaky! This is one of the weirder bosses in the game. Demon with a fear-inducing gaze. Baylor. First stage is pretty hard. The second stage is really easy if you have the Medusa soul. Belmont. Julius Belmont. Most powerful vampire hunter. Recently regained his memory. Julius Belmont is... He's never been featured in a game solely by himself, but if you type in Julius during a new game, after you have a clear file, you can play as Julius Belmont. And Graham. Missionary Gronomitz believes himself to be Dracula. Oddly enough, he hasn't got a Messiah complex, though. Well, that does it for the bestiary. This video has gone on long enough. And with that, that concludes, finally, once and for all, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. And with that, I will see you guys next time look forward to my next game.